And welcome back. My guest for today is a young lady whose bio reads very impressively, I must say. And it is with pleasure that I welcome you, Carolyn Correia. Correia, sorry.
Thank you very
yes,
much.
And I'm very impressed, very impressed. But you know what? I think you should tell the viewers your background information first, and then we'll go into talking about some of your accomplishments. Yes.
Okay.
So a little background information, please.
All right. Well, I'm an author of 2 books. I just published my 2nd book.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
And you are a great inspiration, I must say, for all these years reading your column in the Express.
Thank you.
So my first book was Thinking Out Loud, which is a collection of articles that was previously published in the Woman Express.
Yes.
And a Jamaican magazine I used to write for.
This one right here.
Yes. I also did an audio version last year. And my 2nd book, which was published in June, is How to Find Yourself and Claim What's Yours.
Nice.
Yes, which is a memoir of my professional journey over the last 6 years. And I am also a freelance writer. I freelance with the Newsday right now. I also contribute to a magazine in New York. And I'm a motivational speaker. Well, I should say I'm not where I would like to be as yet. But I have done speaking engagements both here and abroad.
Okay, good.
So
Very
that's
good.
just a little bit about me.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Yeah. Where do you find the time?
I know. I don't have enough time. There's so much more to do.
Yeah, but we could, we can always do what we really love to do. Eh?
Yes.
We somehow make it happen.
Yes.
And so you've been making it happen. But take us back a little bit before this started.
Okay.
Yes, so we can see the connection.
All right. Well, I worked for 7 years in HR.
Yes.
And then after that, I got an opportunity to go to Tobago. So everybody was telling me, why are you leaving a permanent job to go to Tobago for a 2-year contract? But something about when I read the job specs and just the interview alone, all of that is documented in the book. It was just an amazing experience. I think that experience in Tobago changed my life.
And so you left HR to go to do what kind of job?
Communications.
Communications.
Yes.
Okay, that was a leap.
Yes, but I worked in communications before.
Okay.
And then I went back in.
Okay, good.
The transition was a bit difficult because, when employers see all this HR experience, they would be hesitant. They want to see current communications experience. So all my experiences, I think that was my time, and I got that job, and I made the most of it. The engagements with staff was amazing, and the people I met and the experiences I had hosting functions and whatnot, it really propelled me into a new direction to pursue my dream, which was writing full-time and motivational speaking.
Okay, so is it that time in Tobago opened up a whole new world for you?
It did, yes.
Yeah?
And it wasn't so much, because for somebody, I say life is what you make it.
Yeah.
Because for somebody else, and because I have friends who have gone to Tobago and their experience was not like mine. And they tell me, girl, where do you find the time to do all this stuff? I went to a lot of festivals. Part of my job entailed that. And I just made the most of not all the experiences were 100%
positive,
great.
Right.
But I was able to transform all of the experiences, both positive and negative, into something that really was wonderful for me.
Great.
It paved the platform for me to continue writing my 2nd book and also take a plunge and start my own business, which I did last year.
So congratulations on that as well.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the books and the audio. This is the audio Thinking Out Loud, which is accompaniment to the book.
Yes.
Right, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But what I want you to share your story with viewers who are, there are some people who are afraid to make changes. You started off here, and here you are, some years after doing.
Yes.
It kind of remind me of myself, eh?
Right.
Not the same exact experiences, but for the viewer who is at home wondering, well, how do, I'm so afraid to make the shift. I know in my head that this is what I want to do. In reading your bio, I got the impression that you had a love affair going on with words, right?
Yes.
Yes.
One of my coworkers, it's so funny, he used to tell me that all the time.
Yes.
He said, you have a love affair with words.
And I can relate to that.
Yes.
So I'm saying you were not afraid to make the necessary changes to live your dream, as you said. You're now living your dream.
Yes.
So let's help, somebody who might be wanting to do that, not necessarily to do the same thing that you have done. It doesn't have to be that they want to become an author or be in the area of communication,
right.
but they're thinking about, I want to make that change. I know what I want to do, but I am very comfortable and safe here. What would you say to that person?
I would say you have one life to live. It's so cliche, but it's true. You have one life to live, and
now is all you have.
These opportunities would not come again.
Right.
Many people, both family and friends, told me, why you going to Tobago? I heard everything. And Tobago expensive, Tobago this, Tobago.
And
Tobago
then it's a
is
strange,
wonderful.
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just living on my own was an experience. I was not really in the country, but it was different from what I was accustomed to.
In Trinidad.
And I was able to transition easily.
Yes.
I mean, go and come when I please. I went to jazz, I went to Blue Food, I went to Culinary Festival, Seafood Festival. I experienced everything there is to experience in that 1 year. I left before the contract because, my dad was ill at the time.
I'm
so
sorry.
I came back home to be closer with him. Basically, I would say, just grasp these opportunities. Look inside yourself and see what you really want to do with your life. And measure the pros and the cons. If you don't do it, if you do it. And the sky is the limit, just reach for it.
Okay. It sounds like you have an adventuresome spirit.
Yeah.
Because not everybody would be, it would not be so easy for everybody to just pick up and start afresh. Although, moving from Trinidad to Tobago is not such a major thing, because you always have that security that, well, I'm right next door, yeah, kind of thing. But somebody is probably wondering how they make a shift from one career to the next. That's what I want you to address, please.
Well, my educational background was in communications.
Right.
I did courses in HR.
Okay.
But theoretically, on paper, I'm qualified in. My first degree was in literature and communications.
Good.
And my master's was in mass communications.
All right.
With a specialization in film and PR.
Okay.
So it was quite easy. I worked in the field before, and I really was passionate about words, about communications, about everything about it. After a while, I was very, very grateful for my 7 years spent in HR.
Yes.
But it's all in the book. After a while, I started to feel stifled, I felt like the walls were closing in on me, literally. And it was because I wasn't able to share my gifts. I think everybody was born with a gift.
Yes.
And it's up to us to look inside.
Well.
It's up to us to look inside and really determine what are our gifts.
Yes.
And to share it. One of my coworkers years ago, she told me, Carolyn, you have a gift. She read this article I wrote. It was a Japanese restaurant review. And I hadn't written anything in many, many years.
Okay.
And I wrote it, and she's like, you have a gift. You have to use this gift, otherwise you would lose it. She was from Colombia, and it was so funny. I just laughed. But, I realized that it's true what she was saying. If you were blessed, everybody was blessed with a gift.
At least one.
You weren't born to just go through life and just go through the motions and just get up and go to work and do the whole routine over and over. That's one of the reasons why I moved to Tobago as well. Because I was tired of the routine, I was tired of the traffic, I was tired of the same scenery, I was tired of everything. So it's not like I was running from something. I was running towards something, to a better life.
Yes.
And really it was...
And it didn't...
I made friends very, very quickly.
Yes.
I maintained a lot of those friendships to this day.
Okay.
And it was just a wonderful experience.
Okay, good. So, you're going to talk about the 2 books today, are you?
Yes,
okay.
I could.
So which one is the first one? Thinking Out Loud?
Thinking Out Loud, yes.
Thinking Out Loud.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to hand it to you. And you can pull out some of your favorites and share. Seeing that you are a motivational speaker, you would have no problem sharing from your book. And it's your own work, so.
Yes. Well, the book is divided into 4 chapters.
Yes.
It deals with life. This book was inspired, the first article I wrote for The Express, which was, my mother doesn't like this, but...
She doesn't like what?
She doesn't like me sharing too much in the public domain.
Well,
I wrote, she would probably... It was about turning 30.
Okay.
And I was in my lunchroom at my old job. And I said to my coworkers, you all, you know, in a few days, I'm going to be old.
Old? 30, you consider old? Oh, my goodness.
I was having a meltdown because my 20s are officially going to be over.
Okay.
And so they all laughed at me because they were either there already or, you know. But they could identify in some way. And I went home, I went out to celebrate. I came home and I wrote this article in like less than 15 minutes. And that is what started the whole thing. So I walked around with this crumpled script in my bag and I gave it to a few of my friends and coworkers to read. They told me to send it into the newspapers and I did, and I continued to contribute, and it turned into a book. So the first chapter is life's journey, age just a number, and it's talking about all the different things you encounter in work and life. The second chapter is about career and passion, just what I spoke about, you know, each of us having a unique gift. And sometimes we do a career for a number of reasons, whether it's economic or societal, or for our parents to live vicariously through us. But
we've spoken about that on one of the programs.
Okay. And you know, we must do something that can impact other lives.
Yes, we should.
That is the purpose of living, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And once you capture that essence, you know, money doesn't,
very
we
important.
need money
very important.
to live,
yes,
but it shouldn't be a sole driving force
to do what
when
you're
thinking
doing.
about a profession.
Right.
Because right now I feel so fulfilled when I wake up in the morning. I always have things to do. I mean, the business is now starting. It's young, so it's going to take a while. I don't have a lot of clients, but the rewards...
started. The important thing is that you've started.
The rewards I get from just seeing my work in print published. When I got a few emails, I don't like to call it fan mail, but I got a few emails from readers, and it just makes my day. When my article got my first motivation, because I do human interest stories in a newsday, and I just started doing motivational type articles. And when I first saw it, one of my friends emailed the scanned copy to me, and I opened my email. I think the neighbors heard me three houses down. I was so excited. I mean, that feeling cannot be matched.
Yes, it's very fulfilling.
Yes. So
okay, so just a little bit. Share from one of the pieces. Just a short piece, please.
Live every moment to the fullest so that you will have no regrets tomorrow.
Yes.
Measure your success by the happiness you feel in your heart when you arise each morning. When it begins to get contagious and those around you feel it too, then you know that you have achieved your purpose. Okay.
Thank you. Very good. So, what made you want to write? I know we already established that you've had.
Right.
You've always had a love for words, right? But what made you feel that you had to produce books?
This one happened quite by accident. I was on Facebook one day, a Saturday, and I saw something and I clicked on it and I said, wow, I could self-publish, okay. So I made a few clicks, I went on the website, and in 6 weeks I had this book. But the second book was, I really wanted, my dad encouraged me to do it in 2009. And it took 6 years for me to do the second book. The second book I started before the first book.
Okay.
And it's just a...
You started the second book before you were finished with the first?
Before I started this first book.
Okay, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I think I'm following.
Yes, and this one was a memoir, so it took a bit longer because it's based on my experiences. You know, it's not fiction.
Yes.
So it's just a deeper desire to share your journey in the hope that it could help others.
Wonderful.
And so far, people have responded well to my work. And as I said, when I get the emails, because I have a self-subscribed list. I just subscribe a few of my friends and coworkers. Everybody I meet in the not in the supermarket, but sometimes I have met people and I get their email address and I send them, and then they email me back, and it's amazing, you know. That is really rewarding in itself. So that's why I write.
Okay. So what made you do this accompaniment to the book?
I did a broadcasting course in 2010 with Edison Carr, and I wanted to get, I'm not sure if I wanted to get into broadcasting, mainstream, but I know I wanted to use some of the skills I learned.
Okay.
So I decided to do this audiobook. I decided to do the voiceover for myself.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry we didn't, you know, arrange to have it played, you know, while you were here.
Yeah.
But it sounds very interesting. So all the pieces in the book are on
yes,
here?
Yes, it's 2 CDs.
2 CDs?
It has background
I
music.
find it very interesting because as I've always said, you know, as a writer, etc. myself, I understand that not everybody can read. So this would be great for the person who cannot read, you know, so they can listen to it and get the message nevertheless.
And then there are people who don't like to read.
Who don't like to read. You can be driving on the way to work or on the way to home, and you can listen to it. Wonderful.
On the boat or on the plane.
On the plane, yeah. Fantastic. Congratulations on that.
You.
So we will talk about the second book a little later on. But what are some of your plans in terms of getting the book out there? You know, because it's...
Right.
I mean, you don't publish a book and just keep it on your shelf. You want it out there.
Well, I think this is the first step.
Wonderful.
On the show.
Okay, great.
I have been on Tobago Channel 5 a couple of weeks ago. Because the book, I should say it was inspired greatly by Tobago and by my dad, who passed away in December.
Please accept my sympathy.
No problem. Thank you. So that is the first step to circulate it via the media. I have a Facebook page, an author's page on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Okay.
I plan to do more speaking engagements and stuff here, both here and abroad.
Yes.
I don't know how or when yet, but you know,
it will come to you.
So that is part of how I plan to get it out there, and by my articles as well.
Yes. And if you had only one message to give in a couple sentences, what would it be based on what you would have written and shared before?
Right. I would say, let go. Just what you said earlier.
In insights and inspiration.
Let go. It kind of fell in my garden because, you know, although you're an inspirational writer, speaker, everybody is a work in progress. I did a book talk at the library last week. That's part of what I'm going to do as well. Go around to the various libraries and bookshops. And just because you're a speaker, an author, that doesn't mean you're perfect. And your life is perfect.
I speak to myself through insights and inspiration many times, yes.
So I would say to let go.
Yes.
And follow your dream. Be what God intended you to be. It's never too late, regardless of your circumstance or your situation. It's never too late to follow your dream. You only have one life to live. You don't get a second chance. So make your mark the first time and don't look back. Have no regrets.
Okay. That's a lot of messages. So all of these messages, what we're going to get in the book, more or less?
Yes.
In the books?
Yes,
in the books, sorry. Yeah. Okay. What's the one you want us to take away from this book? Well, I mean, we want everybody to read the book.
Yes.
Right? But what... As a writer, I know that I'm attached to certain pieces more than the others. You know, it's like, you know. Is there one in this book that you would say, have you ever written anything and it filled your eyes with water? Has that happened with anyone in this book?
Well, actually, the epilogue, I won't read from the epilogue. The epilogue actually is an extension of the eulogy I delivered at my father's funeral last year. So it's very emotional for me and my family. I thought twice about including it, but it is really a tribute to him. Okay,
so we are going to go to break, and when we come back, we'll do this. We'll be right back after the break. And welcome back. I'm talking with Carolyn.
Carolyn.
Why am I messing up your name today? I'm so sorry.
No problem.
I am so sorry. Carolyn, about your work.
Right.
Now, before you share what you promised to share about from the epilogue,
Right.
I want to find out what drives you. Let me just explain. When I was a child, I read, and read. Words was just, I didn't care how much time they beat me for talking, I'm talking. So I want to know what drives you to do what you are doing today. Is there some deep-seated thing from way back when that, you're finally getting to?
I'm thinking about that.
Yes.
I recently met with two of my primary school friends that I haven't seen in, a long time. And they asked me the same question, if I like to write since in primary school. No, I
Yes.
didn't.
Okay.
In secondary school, my teacher, I had a very good teacher. She really encouraged me. And even then, I didn't really used to, I hear about people, my friends, writing short stories and stuff since in school. And I'm like, I didn't used to do any of that stuff. So I think it's in my early adult life or late teens after I
Yes.
finished A-levels
Yes.
that I really developed this passion for writing.
Okay.
And over the years, it just morphed into bigger and better things. I mean, my dad used to say I'm beating my drum and dancing it too. But sometimes when I read over my work, I cannot believe that I wrote it.
So you appreciate your work.
I inspire myself. I inspire myself.
Good.
But I know it's a gift. It's really a gift from God, and I couldn't do this without Him.
Okay.
So I would say it's just a passion. I cannot write. Even when I'm reading, I have so many books that I haven't finished. I read and I suddenly feel like I should be writing.
Okay.
So I would close the book
So
and
it
go
came.
write.
It was a gradual process.
Yeah. So
for you.
Yeah. It's just a passion for
Yeah,
writing.
and you don't want to waste the gift.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you know what I say? One of the things I say, use it or lose it.
Yes.
So if you've got the gift, use it.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. What are you thinking now that you're sitting here and you're talking about the book? How are you feeling now?
I'm just in the moment right
Yeah,
now. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the next word coming up.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's not as difficult as you may have thought it would have been, right?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to share now, please. And I hope that it's not going to be too emotional for you.
No, I'm not reading from the epilogue.
Not yet?
You have to read that whole thing in one sitting. It's not a long passage.
Okay.
This is The Cold Harsh Truth. It's funny how time seems to put everything in perspective. You sometimes wish the older, wiser you was there when your younger, more vulnerable and naive self needed her to fight her battles when she couldn't or didn't want to face the cold, harsh truths. So I think that is what touched me the most.
This is one of the things about writing, that you're able to literally just let exactly how you feel come out on the page, right?
Yes.
Yes. What is that process like for you? Okay, let me first ask you this. Do you have a special time for writing? A
Late
time of
at
the
night.
day, yeah.
Yes, late at. Well, I write all throughout the day, but most of my work is done at night. Sometimes in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
Like 2, 3. When my friends get these emails on their phone, they're like, Carolyn, go to bed. What are you doing up at this hour?
Yeah. I like to write when the world is asleep.
Sometimes, well, in this book, it was a really long process. So I sometimes
6 years, you said?
I went to sleep. Yeah, sometimes I went to sleep like 6 o'clock in the morning, going straight through the day without any naps.
Working
and
on
just
this
staying up.
book.
Because I'm so driven by it. I'm motivated. I want to see the outcome. I wanted it to be in readers' hands. I wanted to hear their reaction. That is part of my joy of writing.
Okay.
It's not all the time I write something and say, wow, Carolyn, you did a good job. Sometimes I want to hear what people think because I'm unsure how other people would receive it.
Okay.
So that's part of the journey, the
All right.
process.
I have a biggie for you.
Okay.
The title of the book is How to Find Yourself. And?
Claim what's yours.
Okay. How did you do the first part? First of all, how did you find yourself?
Well, the book is divided into two parts. So the
Yes.
first part deals with on my way to finding myself.
Right.
When I was in
To
HR,
yes.
when I was wanting to become published, that whole journey. And then when I was trying to transition from HR back into communications. And my sister said something funny to me while I was doing the manuscript. I asked her, do you think I found myself? She said, well, Carolyn, you're on your way there.
Okay.
It's a continuous journey.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. That's what I was looking for.
You don't ever completely
It's not
find
like
yourself.
that. It's not like that. It's not like a,
Like the
overnight
day before
process.
you die, you're still on your way to finding and learning and
Excellent.
creating.
Yes, yeah. But how would you advise somebody to find themselves as, they're going through the process? How would you advise somebody or recommend? What do you recommend?
Right. Well, I share my journey.
Good. That's what I want you to do.
Yes, and the hope.
A little bit more
okay.
if you care.
Okay. My journey was learning to be patient with myself and learning to love all the parts of me, let go of the things and the people and the situations that no longer serve me. And like the cold harsh truths, I was different from all the other chapters of the book because it was a bit of a, I wouldn't really say a rant, but it was exposing all the foibles and the all the human frailties there is that people don't really talk about.
Were you afraid to do that?
Kind of, yes.
Why?
But I got two beta readers and my
Okay.
editor, who is Patricia Granum. She lives in South. We communicated via Skype, and it was really a long process. I rewrote it 3 times. The initial draft, she told me that it lacked the emotional connection, so I needed to share more. She said you need to connect the dots
More
for the
of your
readers.
personal
Yeah.
experiences.
And I never used to write like that. So in thinking out loud, there's hardly any personal stuff. But people have told me that they could relate to it nevertheless. So the second book I share about living in Tobago, working. The second part of the book, part 2 of this book, I share when I came back to Trinidad and how those experiences shaped my life.
Yeah.
When I started my own business, I spoke about my first TV appearance last year, my first, well, not the first radio appearance, but different things that, that helps you claim what is yours.
Yeah, so I want to know, why were you afraid? Why were you afraid to share personal stuff first?
Because I was afraid of people judging me, first and foremost. People not agreeing with what I'm saying. And then Patricia told me, are you writing for other people or are you writing for yourself? Are you writing?
Good. Wonderful. On that note, we go to break, and when we come back, I'll continue to share with my guest for today. Yes? We'll be right back. And welcome back. My guest today is Carolyn Correia.
Yes.
Right, I got it right.
Yes.
Because I have a thing about people messing up my name. So before we went to break, you were talking about why you were afraid to share too much personal stuff in your writing.
Right.
And why exactly were you afraid?
I think we all have this fear of what others will think of us. And I did not yet embrace that fear. Now I think I've grown considerably over the
Very
last
good.
3 years. Every year I
Yes,
grow.
yes.
We're all on this continuous journey.
Yeah, works in progress.
Works in progress, exactly. And at first, I never wrote anything like this before. And this when I shared, actually I got an even better response from persons.
Because people can relate when they're feeling that you're being open with them.
Yes.
Yeah? And one of the things that I've come to understand as well is that when people read your work and they understand, wait a minute, she shared similar experiences to me. It makes them connect with you. But I know that not wanting to share too much could come from a sense of privacy as well.
Right.
Yes, so I understand that. Now, you've spoken here locally and internationally. Where are some of the places that you've spoken, if you care to share?
Sure. My first speaking engagement was when I worked in HR at the Digger Martin North Secondary School. That was back in 2011.
Okay.
And
I'm not jogging your memory too much.
no, that was an
Okay.
amazing experience.
Good.
And it really, one of my coworkers was with me at the time, and what she said to me really made me think. She said, "You shouldn't be sitting behind a desk.
Wow.
You should be." I looked at all these little faces. It was like Form 1s and 2s, and they were all looking at me so intently and soaking in my
Yes.
every word. It was just amazing. Then the next year, I spoke at Providence Girls, my former alma mater, Catholic school, their graduation ball. That was a larger audience. It was like 1,700 people or so. And again, I looked into the audience and I saw all these faces. Some were smiling, some were just looking. My former principal, she told me I should get into motivational speaking. She recommended me to Don LaFoucault. I attended one
He's
of
been
his...
a guest on this show.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes.
I attended one of his workshops. I was an usher at his workshop, and I said to him, "Don, I don't think I could do what you do." And he told me, "Yes, it'll come in time."
It
That's
will
all
come.
in the book.
Yes, you
the
just have to
second book.
start. You just have to start.
And later in June, I spoke at Eastfield College, Dallas, Texas.
Wonderful.
And recently at Rotary, and then I had my book talk, and I spoke at schools in Tobago, but not motivational speaking, but I would bring that into it as well. I spoke on behalf of the organization I represented.
Okay, wonderful. I would just like to remind the viewers that you still have a few minutes that you can call in and offer congratulations to Carolyn, or just share something. Please call, yes? Yes. So you are going to read something for us before we wrap up?
Yes. So this is an excerpt from
That's the first book,
the first book.
Thinking Out Loud.
Yes.
Yes.
Life is a marvelous adventure. Hold on tight to the handlebars with all you have and enjoy the ride. For it is only once we pass by this way. Live to leave a mark on the world so that people would remember you for the good you brought to their life and to the world, even if it was only for one brief moment. For it is then that you would know that you have truly lived.
Oh, you know it verbatim.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So I usually end that. I end with that when I do
Okay.
my speaking engagements.
Okay, wonderful. So I would invite you to share your phone contact or whatever
Sure.
contact information you have with our viewers, please.
Okay, my phone number is 798
Yes.
8596, and you can contact me at hicomegaconsulting@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I also have a Facebook page, Thinking Out Loud. It's a Thinking Out Loud, but the page is Carolyn Correia, author.
All right. So just give the number one more time, slowly.
798
Yes.
798 8596.
Wonderful. Okay. So I want to thank you for coming by
Thank you
today.
very much for having me.
It's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure. I always feel really connected to people of like minds,
Yes,
like
that's
yourself. So we've come to yet another end of an episode, and it's been my pleasure as usual to be in your company every afternoon, Monday to Friday. God willing, I will be back tomorrow, but this is where I remind you that we can walk on water, but weak faith panics. However, growing faith walks on water in the midst of the storm.